Today we are talking about relationships. How to create relationships that will bring you joy and love and peace in your heart. Don't we want that kind of relationships in our lives so that we can live in that kind of peace and love? Well, it starts with loving your enemy. Yep. So Jesus said in Matthew 5:44 of the New Testament, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you, do good to them who hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Well, that's a mighty tall order, isn't it? How do we love our enemies? And for goodness sakes, what happens when you love your enemy? And who the heck is our enemy? Well, to a lot of people, the enemy is the government, the enemy is another religion, is the other political party, your next door neighbor perhaps is your enemy. But I'd like to call to your attention that the enemy is the person you blame for thwarting your plans, your ideas of how it should be, how it should happen. The enemy is the one who brings up your fear. That is your enemy. So it could be a spouse, a parent, a child, an in-law. It could be any number of people or organizations. Now, Peter asked Jesus at one time in Matthew 18:21 through 22, said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? 7 times is a lot to forgive my brother for his sin against me. But Jesus said to Peter, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Wow, that's a lot of forgiving, isn't it? So, how do we forgive, and why should we? I like the Hindu custom of greeting one another with a Namaste. What Namaste means basically is the highest and the best in me greets the highest, acknowledges the highest and the best in you. Or the divine in me acknowledges the divine in you. That allows us to look for the highest and the best in our enemies, because everyone has good in them. Everyone has right intentions. We may just not know what that is, but when we start looking for it with the intention of understanding, it changes everything. When we acknowledge the highest and the best in another, it brings that out in them. And don't you love it when someone acknowledges the highest and the best in you? It just makes you want to be even better, doesn't it? Yeah, that is the reason why Jesus said, love your enemies. Bring peace to your heart with the love. Make changes through love. Not fear. Not feeling like someone has thwarted you. If someone has thwarted you, it has been yourself doing the thwarting. Yes, it is. We are all one in God. And we recognize in others the very thing that is in us that we don't recognize. If you have an enemy, the first place to start looking is within your own heart, and how they are just a mirror of what's going on in your own heart and head. So let's get out of our ego by blaming and come into our hearts by understanding your enemy. This is Sandra Malvon of Unity Spiritual Community of Salt Lake, wishing you a wonderful day of trying and succeeding, I would hope, in loving your enemy, recognizing who it is and sending them love and trying to understand and acknowledging the highest and best in them. Namaste.